Welcome back to another episode of the Sports Den with Will and James. I am the New Mexican sports editor, Will Weber, as always, joined by my esteemed colleague, James Barron. James, you have football hair going on there. I noticed you're looking like you're right in the middle of two-a-days. Did you just get done running drills
This is what it
somewhere?
does when I actually wash it, man. It just it has a mind of its own. So it looks. I don't think my hair has ever looked the same for any of our podcasts.
For a second, I thought you were wearing a Guardian cap just to prevent, CTE stuff. So.
Well, yeah, you kind of have to, man, to avoid some of these guys.
Well, man, so football practice for us started about a week ago. We of course, we're airing this or recording this on a Tuesday, so we're 8 days into the high school football season, which means everyone, probably with the exception of the Santa Fe Indian School, they're in full pads by now. So you had to get a certain amount of days in practice before you can go full contact. And now it's a sprint to the season opener, which is, gosh, 10 days away. Hard to believe. So,
I know. Funny you mentioned Indian School because they kick it off for us.
Yeah, it's interesting because they're the ones who start the latest, and they're the ones who start before anyone else. So
yeah, I know, that's crazy.
You and I both had a chance to go out and see a couple practices. I went and saw West Las Vegas over the weekend. I've seen St. Mike's a couple times. Would have been your first impressions of what you've seen so far?
Well, I think I kind of expect. I don't think much has changed in 3A. I think St. Mike's is a team to beat. I think the question is going to be who's going to play him in the championship game. Is it going to be Dexter? Will it be Nimmy? Will it be Robertson? Will it be West? I mean, there's a lot of unknown variables there in 3A outside of St. Mike's. So I'm kind of curious about that. Honestly, and I'm more curious to see what you come up with because Wednesday we're going to highlight or after on Thursday, I'm sorry, because Wednesday we're highlighting West Las Vegas, and then Thursday's section we'll have Los Alamos, and to me that's a team where I'd like to know. They had a really good year last year. They were very competitive. They were about 10 minutes away from maybe making it to the state semifinals, which is something that they hadn't done in almost 20 years. And they came up short, but I think that's a team that I'm really intrigued by because they do have some good pieces there. They always seem to have athletes, and they've got a fair amount of guys coming back. So that's a team I'm really kind of looking forward to seeing.
Yeah. I'll be in Los Alamos this afternoon for their practice Tuesday afternoon. I know they scrimmage against Academy, Albuquerque Academy tomorrow in the Duke City. But yeah, you're right. Los Alamos is their problem is they play in the same classification as that Southern District, where the Southern District took, I believe, the top 6 or 7 of the top 8 seeds last year. So that Southern District just dominates high school football at that level. So really, Los Alamos is the only northern team out of that northern district to make any kind of headway against them at all. But look, you're trying to replace a quarterback, and you're fighting that uphill battle where every single team that you've got to beat resides down south, and they don't really see them throughout the regular season. So it's kind of hard to get a gauge on how good the teams are on a statewide level because there's that line of demarcation that a lot of teams in that level just don't cross.
Yeah, and then when you look at the way they redistricted everything, I mean, they gave most everybody outside of 3A. You're getting either 6, 7. You're getting 6 or 7 district games, so that leaves you with 3 non-district opportunities. And for a lot of these schools, I mean, you got to be very careful with who you choose in those 3 games that you're going to get. And so it kind of short circuits those opportunities, maybe to see, like, say Los Alamos wants to go and see a Gadsden or wants to go down to play Deming. Well, it's probably not going to happen for a variety of reasons. So you don't get to see these teams or these matchups that you think might be intriguing until you get to the state playoffs. And again, I mean, you look at the district with that district down south. I mean, you look at the Roswell schools, and Roswell, and you got Artesia in there, you got Mayfield, you got Gadsden, you got Deming and Santa Teresa. I mean, those are all really top-notch teams. And you look at the north end, and I mean, Los Alamos Valley, Manzano's down in 4A, but Highland, Mayamura. I mean, those are the teams that you're looking at from this side, but you don't really know how good those teams are until you get to state. And it kind of leaves a lot of room for interpretation as far as how good are these teams really.
Yeah, I had a chance. Well, you brought it up earlier. Who's going to face St. Mike's in the championship game? And I watched St. Mike's work out last week before they went on their camping trip to Pecos. They had their annual retreat, But the good thing for them is they have a starting quarterback who is essentially not new to the program. He's been there since their freshman year. He's a senior this year. Kamal Stiff. Kamal, confident young kid. He's got a lot of talent. He's fast. He's got a good arm. And I told Coach Joey Fernandez, that's a quarterback that's going to win you some games, but he could also lose you some games. He's that guy. He's a little bit of a gunslinger. Instead of being that system guy, he's going to take some chances because he can get out and run. Which is a great thing, and it can also just really hurt you. So they're gonna look different. And St. Mike's line is just not nearly as big and strong as beefy as it was last year. So that's their weak point. And then you look at some of the other teams in that district. I know you were up at Robertson yesterday. I had a chance to see West Las Vegas. West Las Vegas is almost the complete opposite of St. Mike's, where their strength is the offensive line. They've got a lot of kids back, a lot of size, a lot of experience. They don't have a lot of skill guys. They're replacing a quarterback. They've got a solid running back. Their top running back is actually their starting center from last year. So that's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun. 3A is going to be fun.
Yeah, it will be. And then Robertson too. I mean, you talk about another team that's having to remake itself on the fly. I mean, they lost maybe their two best players from last year with Jesse James Gonzalez and George Smith. Smith is now at Sandia, having transferred there for his sophomore year. Jesse James graduated, but there's about 11. I think they lost 14 seniors from last year's team. They got to the semifinals. So that's a lot of experience you got to replace. And they have a quarterback in junior Nathan Gonzalez. He's something that Lucas Sanchez hasn't had in a while, which is a tall quarterback. I mean, he's had all these guys that have been like 5'6", 5'7", 5'8". He's having to roll them out of the pocket just to give him clear throwing lanes and everything. And now he's got a guy that can actually sit back there and look over the line. Actually, he's the tallest guy out there. I mean, shoot, his line. I think his tallest lineman is like 6 foot. So he's got at least a good 3 or 4 inches to see over everybody else. So I mean, that's a nice problem to have. But again, they're going to have to figure out ways to, spread the ball around and try to find who their skill guys are going to be. So if they figure that part out, they'll be all right. They're going to be competitive. And I think the wild card to me is going to be Pojoaque.
Yeah.
I think Zeke Villegas is doing a heck of a job there, and you look at what he's been able to build. If he can protect his skill players, and in particular, Jonah Villegas. I mean, he's a firecracker. But that's a guy that can go that can score touchdowns. With the touch of with just one touch. I mean, he's a guy that's explosive. But they've got 3 or 4 guys that are like that, and if you can protect the quarterback and give him lanes. They could make some noise in 3A.
Yeah. They made the playoffs last year. Gave Hatch a good run on the road, which is a great growing time. But the thing is, you got to win a game in that district. You got to make some headway, even if you don't win. At least be competitive against Hope, against the West Las Vegases of the world. You don't necessarily have to beat them because I think they will be in the playoffs. But yeah, you just have to prove your worth a little bit with those other teams. But I think Dexter is going to be ferociously good. I know Dexter loses some of their skill guys, but they have the best quarterback in 3A, and they have a lot of their line back. So we'll see. Dexter's going to be tough, and West Las Vegas has to play them early. They're one of the few crossover games where you get a North against a South, and Dexter plays them.
I think everybody's going to have on their circle on their calendar because everybody wants to see how good is Dexter this year, and I think also people want to see how good is West Las Vegas and whether they can fill those holes in the skill positions there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, next week we'll take a much deeper look at the city teams: Indian Schools, St. Mike's, Santa Fe High, and Capital. Of course, I think in the grand scheme of things, nothing is really going to be much different this year than it has been in the past. Santa Fe is going to really struggle. Capital might win a couple games here and there and surprise some people in their district. Indian Schools and Independent, they're playing for essentially just to get a varsity letter, and then St. Mike's will be one of the last teams, if not the last team standing. And then you'll get Los Alamos in the playoffs. You'll get Taos, who will make a run.
Yes, can't forget Española either. They should be there in the running as well.
Yeah, Española's got some talent. Losing that coach is going to be a kick in the teeth for them.
It is, and they're changing that whole system. I mean, he's going to run more of a spread offense, but they lost a lot of linemen. They didn't necessarily have a lot of speed, from last year's team. They were, they literally were a 3 yard in a cloud of dust type of program. They wanted to grind games out, and I don't know if they've got the skill players to be able to do maybe what Coach Holbrook wants to do. I'm going to be going out there today, and I'll get a good glimpse of that. But I'll be curious to see what this team looks like once they get out there. And I believe they play Los Alamos to start the year, so that's not an easy way for both teams to start, because I think Los Alamos kind of wants to establish itself as a contender in 5A, and I think Española wants to show everybody that, hey, even though Thailand Wilder isn't there, they're still a pretty good program.
Yeah, they're one thing about Wilder's playbook at Española last year, it wasn't even necessarily a playbook. It was a sheet of loose leaf paper with, I think, 4 plays in it.
Yeah, I was like, which side do I want? Which side of the line do I just want to blow up? I'm gonna go right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go up the middle.
Who's the running back? It doesn't matter. Just snap it and give it to him. It doesn't just go that way or this way.
Just
and that's
hit
it.
Somebody. That's really all it was. It was just put a helmet on a helmet and let's see who's the stronger man.
The worst position in all of high school football last year was to be a receiver on Española's football team, because you just basically ran calisthenics. You're out there getting your cardio in.
Yeah, you're out there blocking and you're fake running. I believe they threw the ball 14 times last year, and that was including a stretch where I think they went 3 games where they didn't throw a single pass.
Yeah, they had to throw it a little bit in the semifinal game against St. Pius, but
I bet you that's probably where most of their passes came from, was that game.
Yeah, and when they did, it was like, yeah, now I get it. Now I understand why you don't throw the ball.
Yeah, now we understand why you're running the ball.
Like, you're better off just trying to kick the ball downfield to an open receiver at that point.
You might as well just kneel down, right?
Yeah.
Just take some knees, right?
So high school football's in full swing. I had a chance while I was in Las Vegas over the weekend. I did have a chance to go see Highlands, which is always interesting. You and I talked a little bit about this earlier, but gosh, Highlands football they've had 2 winning seasons this century so far. So as bad as UNM has been.
Man. That's starting at I mean, before, when you said it in 2010, it's like, oh, it's just 10 years. Now it's like 25. You're like, oh, okay. So
yeah. It's, and what I do like, and gosh, every Highlands fan that's listening to this, I really wish I could say the coach's last name. I have no idea how to pronounce his last name. Every time I write it into a story, I have to look at it and make sure I get the spelling right. But I did find this out. It's not he's Samoan. They don't like the pronunciation of Samoan. It's not Samoan how we say it. It's Samoa. It's Samoa. So I was like, all right, learn something new every day. Yeah, when I was at Highlands, it was nice, because like Creed Chavis, the old St. Mike's player, is still on the team, and there's some local kids, but for the most part, they're trying to build the way a college football team should. They're going outside the state, and I wrote in my story that they have an offensive lineman who started his college career at Michigan, and now he's ending it at Highlands. So, yeah, it's probably not the direction you want to go, but they've got some size out there. They have, I think it's 10 or 11 Division I transfers on that team, so they're going to be better. But it's still the same old Highlands, man. You go to it's not Perkins Stadium anymore. It's Sanchez Family Stadium, and it's still surrounded by that lavender track that they installed 20 years ago. The scoreboard, which I put in my story, still has halogen light bulbs instead of the LED.
What's the matter with halogen, man? Come on. Yeah.
It's like they, in order to change,
eco-friendly.
Yeah, to change the light bulbs, instead of pulling them out and plugging them back in, you have to unscrew them. That's how old their
scoreboard I bet you those things are hot as hell when you try to do that right after you turn off the scoreboard.
Yeah, you go to the games. I went to their game against Eastern New Mexico to start the season last year, and you couldn't really tell what the score was. It's like, is that a 6, an 8, or a 0? I'm not really sure.
Obviously, some of those bulbs need to be changed out.
Yeah. So they're supposed to be getting a new scoreboard, a new track, and then I know they've talked about extending the field there, because you and I have known this for a while, but they have a women's soccer team at Highlands, but they're not allowed to play at that stadium because literally the turf goes right up to the very edge of the track. You got literally about this much space, and there's a concrete lip that separates the track from the actual turf, which anyone wearing cleats, that's an ACL breaker.
Oh, the tear, and if you fall just right on your wrist, there goes your wrist, man.
Oh yeah, and they have those storm grates probably every 50 yards or so, and they're just metal grates. So really, they almost have to reconfigure the shape of the track a little bit, just to push everything out. But it's it's the same problems that Highlands has had forever, but it's always fun to go up there. Like they've got the right coach, the right mindset. And you can tell this team is actually getting a lot better, because the team he had last year, he took over 2 months, 3 months before the start of the season.
Yeah.
The recruiting period actually shut down. He had no time to recruit. He had to build a staff. And now, in a lot of ways, this is like year one for them. And their season opener is on August 28th in Portales. So I'm probably going to go down to see that one since, the kid is in a
I
year
was gonna
two.
say,
Yeah. I'll make
any opportunity you can get to go down to Portales, you're gonna take it.
go see that. Yeah. I'll do that for all the returning parents. They're taking their kids back to school. He returns to school this weekend. So I'll be down in Portales for that one too. So there you go. I did tell the coach, I'm sorry to do this, coach. I kind of rooting for Eastern to beat you guys. So don't take it personally. But that's where all my money goes is Portales. So
You're gonna have to show some impartiality, man. You're not gonna be able to walk around with your Eastern sweat hoodie on.
well, I have a lanyard on my keys that I have, my car keys, and it's an ENMU lanyard. So and while I'm talking to him, it's hanging out of my pocket. So it wasn't
Why you just dangle it in front of him while you're at it, man?
Man, the Hounds are looking really good, Coach. They actually have a field this year. So like you guys. But we're going to take a short break. We'll come right back. We'll wrap this thing up. We're trying to make this thing quick today because James and I both need to get out and see the world for high school football. But we'll give Matt a chance to run a few commercials or do whatever they do. I've never actually watched what they do during the break, but we'll do that and we'll come right back. All right, the commercial break is over. I think it was a commercial break. I'll have to go back and watch it. Do you know what we do, James?
I think it's just probably dead air for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, you know what I found out too is we were talking to Matt beforehand, and he was telling us that Daniel Chacon has lights and all this cool setup.
Oh, I know.
For his.
Yeah.
We need to get I need to get a fake desk with one of those fuzzy microphones and some cool stuff because like ring lights and all. I got to do all that.
Yeah.
Because
make it look real professional, like.
Yeah, because
works.
I've done this from everywhere from the parking lot at UNM to my car to the garage to now I'm in my living room. So there we go. I got to come up with something better. We need a studio.
Yeah, we do need a studio. Either that or I want you to do one from your bathroom.
I've done one in front of my bathroom. The time we did it with the New Mexico flag in the background, that was a New Mexico flag draped over my bathroom door. So I've been close. Dude,
how many flags do you have anyway? Just the New Mexico flag, but you've got.
Yeah. Oh, I tell you what, I was going to use one of them for a backdrop one time, but I'm pretty sure UNM probably wouldn't like it because I bought it off of I think it might have been a garage sale where I got it, but it's a centennial flag, and I'm pretty sure someone had stolen it because it looks pretty official. But I bought it. It was like a garage. God, I don't remember where I got it. I've had it for like 20 years, but it was a 1989 from 1989 celebrating the centennial of the school, and it kind of got some smudges on it. So I'm pretty sure somebody had stolen it. Like, hey, it was a great find. Now that I said that, I'm gonna have Fern Lobo calling me up.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, yeah, we'd like that back.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought it was worth. I thought it was like just like a life-size photo of Diego Pavia relieving himself on the Lobo logo.
Right. Well, some sad news in the Weber house last week. We had to put down. My wife Sarah had a Chihuahua, a baby Chihuahua. Well, a little Chihuahua. This thing was. It was, if you've ever had a Chihuahua, anyone's ever owned one or seen one, they know that they are the devil. They're like tiny pounds and packages of anger and frustration, all in shakiness wrapped into one. But we had to put little Jasmine down. She was a 4-pound Mexican Chihuahua, and she only had 3 legs. She had all kinds of mental issues, which made her beloved by my wife. She thought that dog was amazing. But we had to put the dog down, had cancer. It was down to about I think 1.9 pounds at the end.
Oh my God.
And if anyone who's ever put a dog down, that was kind of traumatic. I was surprised. The vet was really good. The lighting was good. They were very, they're compassionate. They're empathetic for what we were going through. But I didn't know this, that, because dogs can't eat chocolate. And so when they brought her in right before they gave her the lethal dose,
Hmm.
they had her eating an Oreo chocolate ice cream thing,
Oh
and
wow.
it was a way to send them out because they never had a chance to
Nope.
taste chocolate.
That was
And
like a last meal, huh?
yeah, and she was going after it. It was like she'd come sprung back to life. And the vet said it's just a chance to let them taste chocolate just before the end. They're like,
Yeah.
what a oh, okay. First of all, kind of
This is what
cool,
I've been missing all this
but
time.
super sad. Like, oh my golly, that's terrible. It's just a really bad experience. Yeah. So if you've ever had a dog put down, yeah, now I'm part of that club. It was pretty rough. So yeah, tough
It's
times, man.
Yeah, that's terrible, man. I had something I was gonna say, but I think it's probably not the appropriate time to say it. So
You were gonna say
I'll
something
let that
nasty.
moment. I'll just let that moment pass. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that little dog he was a little terror. I've got 4 dogs, and 2 of them are schnauzers. And if anyone's ever had a schnauzer knows that they're just like 20 pounds of alarm clock. They bark at everything. Well, that little Chihuahua was worse. In her peak, she was angry and always wanted to fight everything. So of course now my wife wants to replace that Chihuahua with another one. So
Well, of
we'll see.
course.
Yeah, we'll see how that
Go with
goes.
what you know, dude.
Yeah. So RIP to Jasmine and
Yes.
rough times. Anyway, so we'll move on. Right before this morning, as I've come to do a lot, I love looking at through Instagram. By the way, why don't we have an Instagram account? We should do an Instagram
I
account
don't know.
because Twitter is just terrible. Twitter is just a
Yeah, yeah, it is.
cesspool of.
It's like I look at the first 5 tweets and I'm like, oh my god, this is why I don't tweet anymore. This is
Everyone's
why I
just
don't
so
visit Twitter.
nasty. Yeah, it's funny because Instagram's kind of nice. Instagram, you have to tell a story, like a picture that goes along. You can't just put some
Yeah.
random stuff out there and fire back at people. But yeah, on Instagram, one of the posts this morning was this website. I believe it's Action Sports, and they said that the UNM football team, is the dirtiest college football team in America right now, and they have a 100 rating out of 100. And I was thinking,
Oh, is it like the Madden rating or what?
yeah, exactly. I've seen a lot of UNM football. They don't strike me as dirty, but I think
Yeah.
where they got the information from is under Danny Gonzalez. They're one of the most penalized teams in the country. Last year, they were, I believe, 131st out of 133 in terms of total penalties. So I think they get the idea that if you're getting flagged, you must be dirty. So UAB was number 2, Toledo was 3, Pitt was 4, and Miami was 5. Utah State, interestingly, where the coach went,
Yeah.
they're number 6. And so it's always like the not basically it's a list of non-power teams for the most part. If you're
Yeah,
not going to
pretty
win,
much.
you might as well just play dirty. That's what you should do.
I was gonna say you're either dirty or you're inept. I mean, it's one or the other. I think that's what that means.
Yeah, and usually it has something to do with the coaching staff because if it's a new system, guys are playing out of position,
Yeah.
and that's one thing Bronco Mendenhall always said is if you're getting beat or if you're behind in a play, your knee jerk reaction is to grab someone.
Grab someone. Yeah.
Like
And
so
and that's when you
you
get
get called.
PIs, right?
Yeah. So UNM, the dirtiest team in the country, probably with an asterisk. So,
Yeah.
and then I did see that on Instagram, of course, the New Mexico United, which is owned by a Santa Fean, actually one of the nicer people in
Yeah,
probably,
Peter Trevasani. Yeah.
yeah, just one of the just truly good people to talk to.
Yes.
They're having Zozobra night this weekend at Isotopes Park. So if you walk in there, you get a Zozobra bobblehead. If you're one of the first,
Ooh.
gosh, I forget how many people, the first however many thousands of people walk in there, you get a bobblehead doll. So make your way down there, James, because now that I know the trees are gone at Fort Marcy,
Marcy. Yeah.
you got to hang on to Zozobra somehow. You got to go down there and get your bobblehead.
Well, like I mentioned before, I think with each bobblehead you'll get a free elm tree seed to plant in your own yard.
Yeah, memorial elm tree, which they grow faster than cottonwoods. They're almost like the bamboo of trees. They grow
See, and all
really
those people that were
fast.
mad about 12 trees getting uprooted, well, you're going to give thousands of future trees right there just by working with the United. Come on, man. I think you
Yeah.
win. That's a win-win right there.
Well, now that they've cut those trees down, I think you and I came up with a $10 million plan to fix Fort Marcy for baseball. Is just build a bridge right over that arroyo and that whole section where those trees were. That way you can extend the outfield out another 30, 40 feet the way it should be. It'll only cost like $10 million to build a bridge over that. And then you have a tunnel where the raging arroyo that fills up maybe once a year. It'll have water to go through. You can do that.
Well, it beat your $100 renovation plan, which was to just take a stick of dynamite and blow up.
Blow up the grandstand, which is one of the most unsafe grandstands in the entire universe.
Especially that hole right behind home plate, right?
Which, as far as I know, no one got killed this year watching games. Ball flying through the back grandstand. But it was a sad night in the Pecos League last night. But in case you missed it, the Tucson Saguaros were crowned Pecos League champions. So. And James, I know you're exhausted. You probably drove down to Tucson to watch that game, didn't you?
Oh, dude, that's why I was late to our podcast, man. I mean, I got up at like 5 a.m. just to get back here in time.
Watch him win Game 3 against San Rafael. I'll give you props if you can tell me what San Rafael's mascot is.
An elm tree.
Exactly, man, he nailed it. The Zozobras. The Pacifics.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you got one team called the Pacifics, and then there's another team called Pecos in the Pecos League. So go try to figure that one out. Yeah.
And then you got the Fuego.
The Fuego, the Fuego have been around since 2012. They got staying power.
Better name than some of the other ones that are out there, right?
Yeah. So Pecos League season is over. The Fuego are done. Another playoff-less season. You're looking at another high school football season where it's going to be more of the same old. The Lobos, they're number 1 in the country in playing dirty, apparently. So a lot of stuff going on.
12 and under can watch how dirty they are.
Yeah. Bring your 12 and under kid. You get a $4 hot dog, and you can watch the dirtiest team in America. So you can't go wrong with that.
You should pitch this to Jason Eck and UNM. He should have like after the game or before the game, just a clinic on how to be dirty.
Well, or just have the team run out of the locker room and just go straight for the cheerleaders and punch them. That's what they should do. Do that.
Yeah, that's even better, man. I think my plan is a little bit better.
Well,
it's called assault.
Well, it'll be a fun week for everybody. You and I get to watch a lot of football. Of course, if you haven't picked up a New Mexican, you should do so. Our football tour did start in today's paper, Tuesday, August 12th, with a preview of the Robertson Cardinals. Tomorrow we'll have West Las Vegas. And then the rest of the weekend, we kind of work our way around Santa Fe and come back in. At the start of next week, we'll start previewing the teams in town. And then Thursday the 21st is the season opener. So it's right around the corner. And then, of course, yesterday, which was Monday, August 11th, all the other teams, the soccer teams, the volleyball teams, they all started working out.
Soccer, volleyball. Yeah, and an interesting thing that I found out while I was in Vegas, Robertson doesn't have a volleyball coach yet.
You might want to get on that. Yeah,
I know it was kind of funny talking to Lucas Sanchez, Robertson's football coach. He actually just got dragged into a search committee interview with one of the candidates who just happens to be the former volleyball coach that they've had for the last 5 years. Apparently, she's reapplied for the job, and they dragged him in there just before practice to do this interview. And I'm guessing that, I guess I'm not dropping any. I've already dropped a hint, but I might as well just drop the name. But it appears that it'll probably be Vanessa Gonzalez as the head coach, as she has been for the last 5 years. So
after all that, you just bring in the same coach. And by the way, you missed all the preseason workouts too. You missed all that stuff.
Yeah, that's a recipe for success right there, buddy.
I tell you what, man, on a slow news day, just go to northern New Mexico. There's always something going on. It usually has something to do with politics or somebody trying to backstab somebody else. It never stops.
I remember when I first got here, I had a former colleague of mine, one Pancho Morris, once said, "If you're ever bored or need a story, just go to Española." And I would expand it. And after 20 years, I would expand it. I'd be like, if you're looking for something, go to Vegas or go to Española. You're bound to find something there that it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, that'll do it for this week. Shout out to my Los Angeles, California Angels of Anaheim, who, by the way, won again last night. They beat the Dodgers.
Hey, so you're 6 wins away from
they have 57 wins right now. They're 57-62. So Right now, all we have to do is go 6-37 would be the worst we can do to avoid 100 losses. I think we're going to avoid 100 losses again. Again, the only major league team to not ever lose 100 games ever. So continue that
Well,
streak.
you're going to keep that record intact, but dude, you need to aim higher, man. You're 5 games below 500. Aim for 81 wins, man.
Well, Mike Trout, the entire team's hitting 228. I mean, when your best player is hitting 270, that's what happens. But as it goes, the Angels are playing in Denver next month. I've already got tickets to go watch them play the Rockies, and I'll tell you what, Rockies tickets are dirt cheap, especially for a late September game with two teams that have no chance to playoffs. Yeah. and it's the same day that Boise State's playing. I think it's Boise State's playing at the Air Force right down the road in Colorado Springs. Plus,
don't tell me you're going to double up on this. You're going to go. You're not going to go see Boise and Air Force, are you?
No, but I am going to go watch. As I'm going to do the story as a fan, from a fan's perspective. The Lobos are playing in Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas on November 1st, and the only reason I'm doing that is because anyone who knows James and I, we have got 7 million hours of unused vacation time.
Yeah, we got to use it somehow.
So I'm going to
use.
I'm going to use 2 days of vacation time at Halloween to go to Las Vegas to see the Sphere. I've never seen this. Of course, my wife wants to go see the Wizard of Oz at the Sphere, but the Lobos happen to be playing at Allegiant Stadium on November 1st.
Against UNLV, huh?
Yeah, and tickets are actually pretty cheap. They're not 12 and under free.
Man, because Allegiant Stadium, it seems like for Raiders games, the cheapest ticket price you can find there is like $700.
Yeah,
I figured for UNLV it would be at least $100.
Yeah, you can get in there for about $35.
$35, wow.
Yeah. So I'll do that, and of course I'll use my media credential to actually get parking, because I'm sure parking probably costs $100 at Allegiant Stadium.
They'll probably charge you double because you're media.
I know, right? Especially if you're going to who on earth wants to cover UNLV and UNM football on November 1st?
So you're from Santa Fe. That can't be real. You can't be a real journalist.
I think I'm making it up. Exactly. Santa Fe. What are you talking about? So anyway, there you go. We got ourselves a roadmap of what we're going to do over the next couple of weeks. And,
there you go.
If you purchase a New Mexican, take a look at James's stories. They're always very, very entertaining. Do that. No AI whatsoever, as far as I know.
None at all. None that I'll admit to anyhow.
Yeah, and maybe next week we can do this from a real studio. Let's see if Matt can find the budget to get us some ring lights or some headsets or something.
I think one of these editors they can give up their plush office there.
Yeah, I know.
Hang out with the rest of us peons.
The sports guys, man, we never get anything. So.
No, I know.
That's right.
It's a hard time.
That's all right.
We need to take our vacation time.
Yeah, right. Like vacation. Wait, we get vacation time here? I didn't know that. When did that happen?
Hey, you just learned that we get overtime.
Yeah, overtime. Yeah, overtime. That's we could have a whole podcast about overtime.
Oh my God, man. Yeah, we should open up phone lines for that one, because I'm sure everybody about that.
Yeah. All right, well, that'll wrap it up for this week. Another very entertaining of the Sports Den is in the books. I believe we're up to 26 episodes now, so we got.
All right, man. I can't wait to see what we do for our 30th.
Oh, we'll have to come up with something big, like
I think like a little cupcake or something. With yours has a 3, mine has a 0.
Yeah,
however it works, and then we'll just blow it out and eat it in front of everybody.
There you go. All right, folks. Thanks for watching. And there goes my dogs. Right on
there we go. What a way to finish the podcast.
The schnauzers are running upstairs chasing one of my cats. So there we go. All right, folks. We will see you next week.
See ya.